Coming up on this week's show. I'm in Amsterdam to jump on board a boat which once ferried migrants across the Mediterranean, but now carries tourists.
So whenever you have a chance to help somebody, do it. Do it, it will come back to you.
Rajan heads to Colorado to help meet the people trying to save the iconic North American bison.
The policy is very much let them roam, let them be free, don't interfere.
Lucy's here with a lowdown on how to pick the best smart suitcase.
The main difference here is that you can afford to be a bit more careless with this, safe in the knowledge that your wheels won't crumble under the pressure.
And taking the long way round to the World Cup finals.
I came here to Russia by bicycle to support my football national team. It was like a dream for all us, for all Egyptians.
Amsterdam is famous for its picturesque canals built in the 17th century to help the city trade in goods from all over the world. These days, they're often clogged with vessels catering to tourists, ferrying groups from one famous site to another. But there are one or two boats that stand apart from the rest.
This is a Hedia, a former people smuggling vessel that was used to transport refugees across the Mediterranean, and up to 76 people would be crammed in there. But now it's being used to give tourists a very different perspective on Amsterdam. Hello. Let's go here.
I will be your guide for today. And we have Sammy. He's our captain.
This is part of an initiative called Lampa Cruises, named after the Italian island where many asylum seekers from Africa come ashore. And the staff are all refugees.
And I remember my mother told me, hey, what do you want to study? I said, I want to study cinema. And she was like, oh, come on, what do you want to study?
Tommy was an artist and rebel politician in Egypt who rose to prominence during the Arab Spring and, soon after, was forced to leave his home.
In 2013, we had a coup in Egypt. The president went to prison and I became a fugitive. I was arrested later, I was tortured, and then I had to leave the country and became a refugee, and I found all the help I need. So whenever you have a chance to help somebody, do it. Do it, it will come back to you.
The tour winds its way through familiar sights, but the emphasis is on showing Amsterdam's long history as a migrant city, built and made prosperous with the efforts of people from all over the world.
In the 17th century, between the years 16 and 1650, a lot of migrants came to Holland. You can imagine, in 50 years, the population of Amsterdam grew from 50,000 persons to 200,000 persons. 75% of the people who lived here were not Dutch. And now we have more than 180 nationalities living in Amsterdam.
Tommy is just one of many refugees who've come to Amsterdam in the last few years.
There was a boat coming, but you can do it.
Most came in 2015, when 45,000 refugees, predominantly from Syria, sought asylum in the Netherlands.
But smuggling is somehow the new slavery system.
It prompted a number of local initiatives to help the new arrivals to settle more easily into their communities. Lampa Cruises is the brainchild of Amsterdam artist Teun Kastelein. Heartbroken by the sight of refugees struggling to reach Europe, he sought to build a social enterprise that would help Amsterdam's refugees. He brought two vessels that had been abandoned on the shores of Lampedusa to become tour boats in his city, with the aim of raising awareness about refugee issues for both tourists and local residents.
Most Amsterdammers, they tend to forget, but Amsterdam is the result of about 1,000 years of immigration. We have, and even I think our most famous philosopher, Baruch Spinoza, our most famous poet is Van den Vondel, and for the Vondelpark here in Amsterdam, and our most famous writer, Anne Frank. I mean, they all came here because they fled from their nation.
Turn's initiative has trained both captains and guides and now employs 6 refugees running 2 tours, the one I took on the canals and another sunset cruise to the River Eye. For him, these tours are a good fit for Amsterdam.
It's a city that's based on inclusion. It's a city based on an open and liberal approach to newcomers. So it's part of our DNA, and I think we should celebrate that.
Boat tours are not the only way for tourists to learn about the refugee experience in the city. Another of Turn's collaborations takes place on dry land across town.
This is the Bilmabias, a prison complex that was built in the 1970s and then closed again just a couple of years ago in 2016. From the outside, it's unsurprisingly quite foreboding, but on the inside, it's an entirely different story.
Are you ready?
I am ready.
Welcome.
What do you think?
Wow, it's really nice on you.
I'm not dressed in a towel just for fun. This is a bona fide hammam, created in the former isolation cells of the prison, with luxury showers,
Loved it. Like how we did,
massage
and how
suites,
it's really relaxing. This is our steam room.
You can't even see the room.
a steam room,
Oh, actually, it's really steamy.
and even a pool.
First of all, we thought like it's impossible to make it a pool. Yeah. But after like this small wall and like some small arrangement, it works fine.
It works perfectly. It's amazing.
Yes. Comfortable. It's a new place. for
All of the
refugees.
therapists and staff here are refugees, mostly from Syria, where hammams are a big part of the culture. Many features of the original jail cells remain, including graffiti left by former prisoners on the ceilings and walls. It's an odd juxtaposition between this and the relaxing hammam experience.
Some people, they really take care of that.
Still, it would have been rude not to try it out.
The concept of hammam actually is a taste of Assyrian culture and a Western theme. So people can know about us, know who we are. So instead of watching the media and think like we live in a tent, they see who we are and how we treat people and how we use our culture to welcome the Dutch society that we are part of it now.
Initiatives such as the hammam and the refugee boat cruises offer tourists a completely new perspective on the familiar city of Amsterdam. But the hope is that they could also impact the way visitors perceive refugees across the world.
One of the time there was a kid, he was all the time looking at me like this. And when I finished, I felt, I asked him, did you have any problem? You didn't understand me or something? And he said, no, I really got inspired. So these things are very important because these kids or people who want to see Amsterdam can change a lot of things.
Next up, with the Football World Cup in Russia coming to a close this weekend, we hear about the incredible journey that one dedicated fan took to the tournament.
My name is Mohammed Noufal. An Egyptian traveler, 24 years old. I came here to Russia by bicycle to support my football national team. It was like a dream for all us, for all Egyptians, to watch our team in the World Cup. It's not a small thing. The journey was around 3,000 kilometers. I started from Tahrir Square in Cairo on 7th of April. From Egypt to Jordan. From Amman in Jordan, I take plane to cross Syria, to Sofia in Bulgaria, then Romania. From Romania, cross Belarus. Then I enter the Russian borders towards Moscow. Moscow was my final destination there. The journey was completely new experience for me. It was the first time to be in Europe. I met new people, new cultures. It was my chance to know more about myself, to discover many places in the world we don't know in Arab world and Middle East. So it's like a big chance for me to show these areas to my country. Of course, the World Cup is the biggest event in the world. It's not just about football, it's about people from all the world. I was so excited in the arrival. It was so special moment for me. I think I will not forget this great moment. To be in Moscow after 65 days, wow, I can't believe that up till now.
Still to come on the travel show.
Lucy's looking for luggage that will survive a proper pounding.
You can afford to be a bit more careless with this, safe in the knowledge that your wheels won't crumble under the pressure.
And Rajan heads to Colorado to join the battle to save the bison.
They are magnificent creatures. These are mostly female and they're calving at the moment, and the baby bisons are so cute.
So stick around for that.
Everyone came to a trailer.
While smart luggage is perhaps the most innovative thing to come to carry on since the telescopic handle, when you buy one, you have to be really, really careful. That's because this year, select airlines are banning ones without removable batteries, citing fire concerns as the main reason. So if there's no removable battery, it's not going on board. So here's our roundup of some of the ones you can take on your holidays. So let's start with something nice and simple. This is the Away carry-on that's got a 37-watt lithium-ion battery located underneath the handle. That's enough to charge your phone up to 5 times using either one of the 2 full-size USB ports or a micro USB port located underneath this rubber lid. And I quite like this nifty design feature that sees the portable battery pop up when you simply need to remove it or recharge it. You can keep your laptop in there. You could keep other devices in this zipped compartment down here, only very small devices, mind you. But it's got a decent amount of storage space, and best of all, the battery doesn't really encroach on how much space you've got to work with. If you're after a stylish, convenient, all-in-one package, the Away bag is a nice idea, but you could always just buy yourself a portable charger, fling it in your bag, and nab yourself a cheaper bit of luggage. So far, so straightforward, but what if your travels take you off-road? The main feature of this Giro Classic is its wheels. Its makers say it deals with any kind of terrain with ease: steps, cobbles, bumps, even snow. It also comes with a phone charger of similar power to the Away carry-on we looked at earlier. Now, if I'm being completely honest, dragging this bag around doesn't feel drastically different to doing so with a regular piece of luggage. But I guess the main difference here is that with a lifetime guarantee on the wheels, you can afford to be a bit more careless with this, safe in the knowledge that your wheels won't crumble under the pressure. Now, elsewhere, you also get luggage tracking with a little bit of help from the Tile Tracker. Now, this connects to your phone via Bluetooth and uses your phone's GPS to locate your luggage. So if you arrive and your bag doesn't, open the app and you can locate your luggage anywhere in the world. So for the most part, smart cases have mainly been designed to charge and track your phone. Useful, but boring. This is the Nomadic Audio Speak Case. Fitted into the front is a Bluetooth speaker. The bag's acoustics are designed to amplify your tunes and make them sound even better. It's clipped into the case, so all you need to do is simply unclip it, pop your speaker out, portable audio. You can also remove the speaker altogether if you want to. It's pretty loud. It's an interesting idea, but I feel that one only really appeals to people who love to travel and feel that they need high-end audio with them wherever they go. For the rest of us, a portable speaker will probably do. So you've got your luggage, but dragging it around a new city when all you want to do is explore is far from ideal. That's where Stasher comes in. Search your immediate location and Stasher will show you the shops that have agreed to look after your bag. For a small fee, of course. It's like an Airbnb for your luggage. There it is. Just going to show you my code.
That's good, thank you.
Yeah?
It's all right.
Awesome. So I've just paid £5 to store my bag here for the next 24 hours, which in the grand scheme of things really isn't that much to pay given that you're going to be bag free on your travels. Now, one thing I will say about this service, it is fantastic, but if you're outside the Western Europe area, be mindful because there's not as many options.
Well, to finish this week, we're off to America, where the western state of Colorado is classic farming and ranching country. It was also once home to millions of bison, but not anymore. Rajan's been to meet the people fighting to save this iconic North American animal.
The enormous expanse that is the state of Colorado. Take a drive 3 hours from the capital Denver towards the New Mexico border and you're greeted by timeless and spectacular landscapes. This is the San Luis Valley in the south of Colorado. Classic western terrain with its high plains and the Sangre de Cristo mountains in the background, gloriously ice-capped and most of them over 14,000 feet high. With the cattle ranching and the incredible wildlife, this is what outdoor junkies from all over the world come to America to witness. But for a long time, there was a classic, all-American, iconic creature that was missing from this landscape. The bison. Once 20 to 30 million bison, the largest terrestrial animals in North America, roamed across the land. But they nearly became extinct thanks to mass slaughter and habitat loss. By the time old ranches like these were opened in the late 19th century, the number of bison had collapsed to less than 1,000 across the whole of the USA. And look, down here, we've got some old bison hide. Whoa, that's thick. But the truth is, ranching and cattle rearing have not covered themselves with glory, earning a bad rap for destroying biodiversity and overgrazing. But now this same ranch, converted back from a short-lived spell as a luxury golf course and a high-end spa resort, is at the vanguard of a nationwide mission to reverse these disastrous trends. There's one family of ranchers, the Phillips, who've been managing this place since 2004, but who've been in the whole ranching game for 4 generations. And I'm going to now talk to a 4th generation, Duke. How you doing?
How are you?
How you doing? They call you Little Duke. I don't think that's true anymore, isn't it?
No, not anymore. It's been a while.
Now you're going to show me the bison, aren't you?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's look.
Duke Phillips and his family devote 50,000 acres of land to running the bison conservation project here. Unbelievably, not that long ago, this was a view that would be nigh on impossible to enjoy anywhere across the whole of the USA.
So here we have a group of about 100 bison out of the total herd of 1,500 to 2,000 on this ranch. They are magnificent creatures. These are mostly female and they're calving at the moment, and the baby bisons are so cute. They're passive pretty well normally, but you wouldn't want to get them riled because they weigh 1,500 pounds and they can run faster than a horse. So I think I'll just stay about here. What led to the near extinction of bison, I think in the late 19th century?
Generally speaking, it was westward expansion. Whether it was wealthy people from the east coming and shooting them from a train, people shooting them to sell the hides, or trying to shoot the food source for the Indian to promote westward expansion.
Now these are some of the largest and purest herd of bison in the whole of America, and the policy is very much let them roam, let them be free, don't interfere. And perhaps after a history of exterminating close to 30 million of them nearly 100 years ago, that's only right and fair. From tens of millions of bison to just a few hundred at one point at the end of the 19th century, the numbers are slowly recovering, and ranchlands want to create more herds. But that requires management and keeping the genetic quality of the herd high. Once a year, the ranchers round up these bison. Every autumn, with a series of pens, alleys and catwalks, culminating in a hydraulic squeeze chute, the bison are examined, marked and treated. At this point, a number of the bison are selected to be culled and sent to market in as low stress a manner as possible, the ranch insists. But there's one other crucial link in this conservation chain: tourists, who the ranchers say don't just observe but actually improve the bison management. Kate Matheson was a photo editor on glamour and fashion magazines in the UK until she came out to the USA for a holiday 10 years ago. For the last 6 years, she's worked here on ranch lands. Now she's one of only 2 people that live all year round on a ranch that's 7 times bigger than Manhattan.
The joy of being part of a much bigger picture, a much bigger mission of conservation and preservation of these landscapes, but the lifestyle too, and share it with the bigger audience is really critical to its preservation.
And being part of the Bison Conservation Project unusually is giving a woman from the south of England a role in reviving the all-American animal.
It's what you imagine, isn't it, when you think of the West, is bison. You know, what a tragedy if that didn't exist at all.
There is one aspect of this ranch that definitely marks it out as very 21st century: the wranglers themselves.
For the last couple of years, they've all ended up being women. They're all lifelong riders, which is, you can't apply without being a lifelong rider.
But they're not too romantic about bison here, because come the evening meal for the tourists, there's one favourite ingredient nearly always on the menu.
Hey everybody. We've got 3 cheese bison enchiladas.
The Phillips family don't believe that bison numbers will ever return to the tens of millions. But thanks to these kinds of conservation efforts, this iconic all-American animal is now very much part of this country's landscape again.
Well, that's all we have time for on this week's show, but coming up next week...
Rajan is in Amman in Jordan, seeing what some people are calling a cultural revolution.
Or Arabic food in general is Arabic food. There's no such thing as Syrian, Lebanese. I love that you're agreeing with me. Yes!
So do join us then, but in the meantime, from me and all of the Travel Show team here in Amsterdam, it's goodbye.